Brittany Barger is joining us live from Washington, D.C. She's the Europe editor for Royal Central. Brittany, welcome to the program, and thank you very much for choosing WION The World is One.
Thank you for having me.
How does it feel being part of history?
It's kind of indescribable. It's hard to describe. I mean, there's moments that you don't realize that you're going to be a part of. I mean, we knew eventually that this would happen. We knew Queen Elizabeth II wouldn't live forever, but it's nice to see a historical moment that's a pleasant moment. Because for the past few years, we've lived through some historical moments and been part of history that's been not so pleasant. So it's nice that we're getting to experience something that's going to be a moment of history that is positive.
Brittany, we'll be talking about the coronation procession in a short while, but let me just understand from you, how would you compare this coronation process and ceremony with that of Queen Elizabeth or the late Queen Elizabeth II in 1953? Are there any comparisons, sticking out points?
Well, it's been 70 years. So obviously you have the issue of security. The security is a major issue now, where it wasn't as big a deal in 1953. There's more people in London, more people that can watch the procession on TV. So it's different in the sense of security and how many people can watch this. There is in the procession a difference because the Queen rode in the Gold State Coach to Westminster Abbey. Wow. However, King Charles and Queen Camilla are choosing to ride in the Diamond Jubilee Coach, as it's a little bit more comfortable on their way to the Abbey.
All right, we're still talking about comparisons, Brittany. And let's compare Charles's coronation with that of his late mother now. There's the limited time factor. This will be under 2 hours and the ceremony is off. It is less grandeur than the 1953 event. The late Queen's coronation was notably the first coronation to ever be televised. An estimated 27 million people in Britain tuned in to watch the ceremony on TV, and a further 11 million listened on radio. I could go on, by the way, but what will be different this year, this generation, you think?
We have obviously social media, so every little thing can be nitpicked now. That's going to get blasted all over Twitter, Instagram, and the like. Also, television is now high def, so we're getting to see everything up close and personal in color. But it's just, it's a lovely thing for everyone to see. And Charles has chosen to slim it down a little bit. It's not going to be as long. It's not as grand, I guess you could say. But I think that goes with the times, that the economic situation that's going on across the globe. He's taking that into account because obviously the taxpayers are footing the bill. So I think it's good that he is taking that into account and is not going and taking this grand coronation ceremony where so many people are struggling at the moment.
Brittany, let's keep to that. I want to know your views about the new king. What do you think about him?
I think that he is a good man. He is really passionate about his projects when it comes especially to green initiatives. He kind of follows his father with that. He has made mistakes, but haven't we all? Of course, he was married to Diana, who is beloved, especially here in the United States. Diana is still loved. So I think it depends on where you're from also on your opinion of His Majesty. He's not viewed as positively, I believe, in the United States as he is maybe elsewhere. And I think that's the Diana factor. But me personally, I think that he will be a good king. He works hard. He's always been hardworking, always been very passionate about his projects and giving with the Prince's Trust and different things. So I think he's going to have a good reign.
Brittany Baja, stay with me because I want to know the views of Americans about this coronation ceremony. Very many people are enthusiastic about this day. It's a historic day, and we still have to explain to our viewers why this day is important going forward. So stay with me, stick around. You are watching WION World is One. Let's go live to London now and see or gauge the mood there. This is Westminster Abbey, where guests and dignitaries are currently arriving at the Westminster Abbey, taking their seats and waiting for the king, the man of the hour, and his queen to arrive. And then the Archbishop of Canterbury will conduct the whole ceremony and anoint the king and queen, respectively. So the coronation ceremony procedure, this service is composed rather, excuse me for that, of 6 parts. The first part is the recognition, the oath, the anointing, the investiture, the enthronement, and finally, the homage. Coronations, again for the benefit of our viewers, are state occasions, so although they take place in Westminster Abbey, they are not organized by the Dean and Chapter, but they are organized by the Earl Marshal, one of the great officers of state. Let's talk about the enthronement and homage, why it is significant. I'll just take you through what happens. Actually, let me just begin with the anointing. The anointing with holy oil is a central act to the religious ceremony and takes place in private, but we'll have to wait and see if King Charles will decide otherwise and break tradition. The king will remove his crimson robe of state and sit on the coronation chair made for King Edward I in around 1300 years. He will wear a simple white shirt representing that he comes before God as a servant. Then the enthronement and homage. The enthroning is a setting of the king in his crown on the throne. The Archbishop will proclaim. These are the words written every coronation period. The Archbishop might decide to change. I'll just read a few of the lines from that stature. It says, "Stand firm and hold fast from henceforth this seat of royal dignity," and the moment symbolizes stability and constancy. The enthronement traditionally represents the monarch taking possession of his kingdom. And finally, the homage. The Archbishop pays homage. Oaths of allegiance have always been sworn to the newly anointed and crowned sovereign. The Prince of Wales is the only blood prince to pay homage during the service, in a break of tradition. The new homage of the people invites people watching around the UK and across the world in the King's overseas realms to cry out and join in by swearing allegiance to the King.